There are an untold number of videos on how to beat New Vegas using different weapons. There are even a lot of videos about how to beat the game using the worst weapons. But to my knowledge, there is no video on if the game can be beat using the worst weapon of them all, the human meat pole. And also we are beating the game naked and on hardcore. Hello and welcome to Second Run, the series on YouTube where I replay classic games with a twist, and welcome to my unarmed naked man challenge in New Vegas. Let's begin. On the 27th of February, Randolph Stein would write the intro to this video. Following the writing, he would attempt the unarmed naked man run. This was a terrible mistake. New Vegas is not balanced to account for a naked unarmed moron character. Every enemy becomes the hardest boss that anyone has ever faced. Nothing can be killed easily, and there are not enough healing items in the Mojave to facilitate an entire playthrough. And you can bet your sweet ass that you're gonna run out of doctor's bags even quicker. But somehow, due to stubbornness and idiocy, Randolph learned that the run is viable. However, under the best of circumstances, at least 150 hours would need to be put into the game to ascend to level 50 and get the necessary perks to make an unarmed fight against the Legate possible. Randolph, having the spine of an earthworm, is unable to commit enough time to make this a reality. However, his worm spine has taught him many tricks. One of the many tricks is the unlimited XP glitch in Goodsprings. So he created a character, named him Chatley, used the glitch to create a level 50 Super Punch Chat, and then tested his metal against a young Deathclaw. Super Saiyan Chatley turned the young Deathclaw into mush and went up against a tougher foe, a regular Deathclaw. Super Saiyan Chatley was once again victorious. This meant one thing. The run was on. Just because Chatley can manhandle a Deathclaw doesn't mean that this is gonna be an easy ride. Geckos can kill him in seconds if they manage to gang up on him. And things like firepower, especially shotguns and explosives, can remove huge chunks of his health in seconds. After licking my wounds and mending my hurt pride, I went straight to New Vegas to confront Benny. To get into the strip, Chatley punched and pounded some random street trash and took their gear and sold it. But that wasn't enough, so he had to stop by the Van Graffs and procure some more merchandise to start his import-export empire. The doorman wasn't an easy ride. He went down in the first punch and then Chatley pounded him into the pavement before his friends even made it outside to help their little bro out. After dishing out a few more poundings, Chatley made his way inside, and in an epic display of dominance, he pounded Gloria's manlet boyfriend before showing her what good courier service looks like, and delivered to her face a package full of manly fists. Chatley pawned off the bloodstained merchandise to the virgin bros that can't afford New Vegas rent prices and bought his way into the strip. Ignoring the lame cowboy robot, Chatley made his way directly to the tops, and when confronted by the chairman, he told them to go suck it, and then he sucked the life out of them. Little bitch Benny was no match for Chatley, and he pounded him into the floor while the casino goers looked on. And then he took his suit and his favorite gun to use as currency for future drug purchases. Upstairs, Chatley and Yes Man planned to take over New Vegas as usual, but as Chatley stepped outside, he was accosted by an NCR courier, and then I got the crazy idea to side with them for once. A decision that I would come to regret much later in the run. After getting invited to watch the game with Kaiser and insisting his courier Vulpix in his wish for death, Chatley made his way to Mr. House's and breathed on him so hard that the old man died, and then he installed Yes Man to be his personal AI butler. By this point, I unfortunately remembered the whole thing about siding with the NCR, so we went to go see what the ambassador had to say. And I don't know if it's his suave suit, his pubic looking goatee or his whiny voice, but something made me want to get that man's approval, and Chatley agreed to go run some errands. The first errand was to go stop the locals in Freeside from attacking NCR citizens, and I somehow managed to both fail and complete that quest at the same time. See, you're supposed to figure out that the little twat pacer that works for the king is purposely fucking up relations with the NCR to fuel a conflict, and then have the king punish him, and as a reward for figuring out that he was a traitor, he will agree to cease hostilities. I didn't do any of that. I managed to help the twat in a firefight and chattily punched the employees of an NCR soup kitchen to death. But somehow, despite proving that the NCR is evil, the king still agreed to cease hostilities. And even though my reputation was mixed with the NCR, Ambassador Eustace was pleased regardless, and then he sent us on another mission. On our way out of the strip, Chatley stopped by the White Gloves to chat up the ladies and pound some drinks for a change. But they were being weird, so he pounded the White Gloves instead. Then also the Gomorrahs, because it wouldn't be fair to not smack both of New Vegas' ass cheeks. Our secret NCR mission took us to the Boomers base, and here we made good friends with them and shared some really sweet moments, like taking a tour of their museum, treating infectious diseases and blowing up ants. After proving that we're cool, the Boomers agreed to help us in the upcoming battle, but told us that if they are to be mega valuable in the conflict, they're gonna need a plane that's sunken in a lake, and Chatley needs to go raise it from the bottom of that lake. And so Chatley headed to the lake, pounded some Mirelurk kings and turned them into Mirelurk peasants, and then raised the plane with his raw, uncircumcised power. At this point, I figured that the NCR would be pleased and let us join their club. However, I had forgotten how much the NCR sucked. So instead of getting the key to the clubhouse, Chatley and I got sent to speak with some Lady Colonel person at the Big Dam. At the Big Dam, the Lady Colonel told us to go sort out some incels over at Red Rock Canyon, because they're apparently tied with Kaiser Salad Boys and the NCR doesn't like that. In Red Rock Canyon, I had another aneurysm and I found myself helping the incels out. Chatley taught some guy how to make drugs, ran a few errands for his Stacy girlfriend, and had a picnic with some lady named Melissa, before finally talking it out with Big Papa himself and laying it to him straight and convincing him to carry out a suicide mission at Hoover Dam and not side with the...
If the Khans are to be immortal, we must make our own destiny. We won't fight for Caesar, but when he strikes, we will ride out one last time.
Motherfucker! That's not the option I wanted. Fuck. Here's the thing, in my RPGs I never reload. Like Chatley, I make decisions and I live with the consequences. And I'm regretting that life philosophy right now. I tried to do some missions for the Khans in the hope that I could talk to Papa again, but after pounding through their quest like an amateur porn star that's trying to nut before the camera runs out of battery life, I came to the awful realization that there is no going back. And as I left the canyon, I learned that in my bodying up to the Khans, I had managed to proper piss off the NCR, and they sent their lone shark squad to tell me that I had 3 days to get my shit straight or they would be coming after me. I then went back to the Khans, strangled Papa in his sleep in the hope that that would make me feel better. It didn't. And then I continued to Kaiser's camp to kill him in the hope that it would make me feel better. It did. A little. And then I turned on the Yes Man robots, because why the fuck not at this point? On our way back, we swung by the Brotherhood of Flaccets, and Chatley showed their doorman that when it comes to pulsating cannons, Chatley is carrying the mightiest of them all. Chatley was ready to show more Brotherhood members his pulsating cannon, but then he saw that 2 guys was coming over, possibly to invite him to a 3-way, and Chatley, he doesn't swing like that. Love is between a man and a woman, or between a man and another man, and not between a man and another man and then another man. So we got the fuck out of there before the gangbang began, and then we made our way back to New Vegas. Back at Lobby 38, I found out through dialogue with Yes Man that I could have gone back and unfucked Chatley's relationship with the NCR. Unfortunately, there's no way to exit out of this dialogue, so we're gonna have to go with the Yes Man route. At the dam, I had one of my fears about the run confirmed. See? There are different types of ammo in the game, and I can't remember which one the Legion guys at Dam Battle use, but I was afraid that it was the one that will pierce, rip and tear Chatley's flesh, like Chatley has been ripping and tearing his enemies. And it is. Chatley activated his manly hiding stance, and then we waited out the initial Legion assault and made a break for it and ran to the door that takes us to the power room in the dam. Inside the dam, the buggy reputation that Chatley had acquired came in handy, as the power-armored NCR guys with the big pulsating guns refused to acknowledge that Chatley existed, and this allowed us to just stroll in and activate Yes Man. After diverting the power from the dam to the fort where the robot army is stationed, the rest of the fight became a joke. Chatley strolled down to Kaiser's camp while the robot chads inserted their rockets into the Legion Virgins. And then we arrived at the point that I had been really dreading. I thought this was gonna break me, and I had carefully laid out a plan and sculpted Chatly to this plan. I was gonna aggro the first Legion guys, suck up some drugs and then stand in this pool, which would irradiate me and then heal me due to some perks that I had acquired. And hopefully the drugs and the stims and the radiation healing would keep me alive long enough to take out the Legion guys with the power fists, and then I would repeat that tactic with the Legate and pray to Frey that it worked. But I didn't need any of that. Chatly snuck up behind one Legion guy, choked him out with his big manly hands, and then he repeated that tactic on the next Legion guy. Talking to the Legate, Chatly laid it down to him straight. He wanted a man-on-man fight, and the Legate agreed, and then Chatly pounded him so hard into the ground that it broke the fabric of space and time, and the Legate got stretched out of existence before being propelled into the sky, falling down, coming invincible and teleporting a short distance, all while being unconscious and getting pounded by our naked savior. And then Chatly went to Pound Town on General Oliver and proved that you can indeed beat New Vegas as an unarmed naked man. It just requires a plus 200 hour playthrough and some planning, or an XP glitch and some planning that turns out to largely not matter. But let's look at the stats. Chatly killed 169 people and 91 creatures, resulting in a total kill count of 260. Of those 260, 145 were paralyzed before being beaten to death, 2 were killed in their sleep, and 2 were eaten. During these battles, Chatly's limbs were crippled 18 times, 9 doctor's bags were used, 104 chems were taken, resulting in 6 addictions, and 6,844 points of health were restored with stims, using 43 stim packs to do so, and 3,885 points were healed with food. To procure all the drugs and health items, 7 locks were picked, and 100,099 caps worth of goods were traded. And finally, to achieve level 50 through the glitch, 8,894 speech checks were made. While the run was tough, I did end up having a lot of fun with it after I made the decision to boost Chatly to level 50. And I'm kinda disappointed that I didn't get to use my masterful radiation pool healing plan to kill the Legate, but I might recycle that idea for a future run. Who knows? Well, until next time, go play New Vegas and do a self-imposed challenge. It's fun and it forces you to experience the game in a new way. But for now, bye bye.